know that you can ask. Yeah, when you come to the place of prayer, you must know that you have permission to ask. Jesus even said that in John 15, ask whatever, and ask in my name. He was encouraging the disciples to ask. Ask. God is our Father, and He wants us to ask Him to give us what we need. We have many needs in life, such as basic ones like shelter, food, money, education, health, and many more things. There's nothing too little or too great for God. He has promised to provide, and all we need to do is ask. He actually invites us to ask. Asking God is something we can do without fear. We can ask Him to meet our needs. We can ask Him to meet our family's needs, the city needs, the national needs, the continent needs and the world needs. One day I asked God for a job. I asked God to give me a job that day because I really needed a job. I was in a desperate place. I knew that somewhere in my city there was a job and I needed it that day, not the following day, but that day. I asked God to help send His angels to find that job and then get the angels to lead me to that job. When I got into town, I did not know which direction to take, but I still asked God to lead me. I was in that state where I said, God, today, you will give me a job today. I'm not making an application where I'll go an interview next week or whatever. I need it today. So I go to the post office. I was like, okay, from here, where to God? And in those times, doubts will come. What are you doing? You're just going. Where do you go? I didn't know where to go, but I stood there. I said, God, I'm not going back home. Today, I must have a job. Today. And so I felt led to go to a friend. And when I went there, I sat there with her at tea. And then she said she needed to go out to the industrial site. And while she said that, a thought came into my mind. I was reminded of one lady I met, and she told me that, oh, you know what? There's someone looking for a secretary if you are interested. And then I'd forgotten about it. Then I just thought, oh, let me take a shot and ask. Maybe they found someone, maybe they didn't. And so I got my friend to drop me off because it was a bit far, but she was going that way. And so I went there and she dropped me off. And when this lady saw me, she just said, oh, hi, Gertrude, are you here for the job? And I'm like, yes, I am. And she's like, okay, come in, come in. And then she led me to this lady. And the lady, it was her husband's company, and they wanted to, if someone says, okay, you know what, I would have you start immediately. It's just that my husband is not here, and then you have to start tomorrow. And so while she's still speaking, the husband walks in. And she's like, what? He says, no, I was just driving past and I thought I would pass by and see you. And he says, okay. Then I also, the husband came, sat and talked to me. And then he says, okay, he took me, we got into his car. And by 2 o'clock that day, I started a job. So all things are possible with God. We can also ask questions and God will take time to answer. There may be things we do not understand from the Word of God, so we can ask Him and He will give us the revelation we need. I've asked God so many times, and all the time He has provided the answer. One day I asked God which church to go to. I'd moved to Bulawayo, a city in Zimbabwe, and did not want to go just anywhere. I wanted to be in a place that was good for me, a place that would build me up, especially where God wanted me to be. God then told me to go to Harvest House International. I then asked God to confirm it by making it easy for me to see the senior pastor, and also through his responses to me, God confirmed it all the step of the way. Philippians 4 verse 6 says, don't be anxious about anything, but in everything by prayer and supplication with thanksgiving, let your requests be made known to God. So making your request known to God is asking. We can ask. He's inviting us. There's so many scriptures, that tell us to ask. Why are you not asking? Sometimes we are so shy. And sometimes I don't even know. I'm torn between two things, so I don't know what to ask for between the two things. So one thing that I've learned as well is to ask God to show me what I need between the two and what I should be focusing on. Zechariah 10 verse 1 says, "Ask rain from the Lord in the season of the spring rain, from the Lord who makes the storm clouds, and he will give them showers of rain to everyone, the vegetation in the field." So Matthew 7:7, ask, it will be given to you, seek and you will find, knock and it will be open to you. Matthew 7:11 says, if you then who are evil know how to give good gifts to your children, how much more will your Father who is in heaven give good things to those who ask him? Matthew 18 verse 19, and again I say to you, if two of you agree on earth about anything they ask, it will be done for them by my Father in heaven. So there's so many scriptures that will encourage us to just ask from the Lord, and he's willing to hear us ask. Just ask. There are times when I've just sat there and I was telling my daughter the other day that telling me about your problem is really not asking for help. I know that, sometimes when I talk to God, I tell him exactly what happened and how it happened and how I felt, and it becomes a very long conversation. And sometimes after that, God then says to me, then what do you want me to do for you? And then I think about it and I'm like, what am I really wanting from God here? Because sometimes all we do is we just tell God about what happened and about our problems, but we don't ask what we need from him. And then after that, I say, Lord, I need peace. I need to get over that. I need to forgive this person because what they did is still affecting me. And then God says, okay, I can do that. And he helps me, you know. So, yeah, think about how you pray. And sometimes you just talk about your problems, but you're not really asking God to help you. Because I can go there and say, Lord, if I don't pay my rent on time, then I'm going to be evicted. Then I don't even know what is going to happen to me afterwards. And so, you know, and you talk about all these things. But if I go and say, Lord, please, can you help me with my rent money? Please help me. I know you can provide. I know you can do the impossible. I know that there is nothing too hard for you. So please provide for my rent. Lord, it's a difficult situation for me because right now I can't pay my rent and this is a situation, Lord, my landlord. You are the only one right now who can come through for me. That is asking for help, not just talking about the problem. It is only pride that stops us from asking. No human being has all they need, so we will always need something from God. Do not be shy to ask God, our Father, what you need. You can even ask for ice cream and he will provide. He is waiting for us to ask. Asking him means we trust and believe that he is able to provide. He is Jehovah Jireh, our provider, and he is El Shaddai, the many-breasted one. So that means we can feed and he will never run dry. There's nothing too hard for God. Just ask. Ask for help when you need it. Just ask.